we have two file servers deployed already running AFS 3.0. We are going to add an NFS and SMB share to our file server. So we'll hit add export. We'll give it a name. We'll call it deploy. We're going to use this for our software builds. We have our file server already selected because we had it highlighted. We'll use NFS. There are two export types, non-sharded and sharded directories. So non-sharded directory means that it's always going to be living on one file server at a time. Means that in the event of failover or HA, that all of the files that are under that FSVM will move over seamlessly. And you can have deep file structures. You can have root files as well in the directory. We will give this a terabyte of storage, but we're going to use sharded directories. So say we're building our pipelines and we have individual people kicking off builds. So we have 300 developers all working away. So there at any one time, there can be 300 to 600 top level directories. All of those top level directories are going to be spread out across all of the file server VMs. So if we had a file server deployment using 8 file server VMs, their workload will be spread out evenly across them. So it's a good use case for a sharded directory. They're not putting any files into the root directory, so we'll hit next. We have our authentication system none, so we are running NFS version 4. The none or system will help you ease migration coming from NFS version 3. The system is going to authenticate at the client level. So we have 3 different options for Kerberos. 5 is going to be authentication only. Integrity is going to just be doing in hash. So if there's a man in the middle, you can tell if anything was modified. And then we have the last one, which is going to be both the hash and also the connection between the client and server is going to be encrypted. So this has the most overhead in regards to CPU, but it's also the most secure. And then if you want to add another level of security onto that, you could have the default access to no access and then add in the exceptions. So I want only one host to be able to access the share what's going to be deploying the builds. So I will put in my address here, .34, and away I go. I'll hit create. And so that's going to do all of the creation of volume groups for us. There's nothing that you need to know about. It's all going to be happening automatically since AFS is using ABS. So while that's getting kicked off, we can add an SMB share to our file server. So we'll call it users. We have a VDI environment that's quite large. It has 5,000 users. So once again, we want to use this home directory, which was the sharded directory for NFS. So now, even though we have 5,000 users and multiple heads being ran in our environment, we can still have one group policy for all of our users. Assign the max storage, hit next. We can enable ABE, which we will do off the bat, and we'll also give users the ability to restore their own files using our self-service restore. We'll hit create. And so now we have 2 shares that are spinning up. Pretty easy to get going. So the user one is getting taken care of, but our deploy share is up to the races. So we have a nice little detail window that you can come take a look at. That is that easy to get your clients able to access AFS.